Welcome to the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with the support you need to finish your book. Best part is, after you finish your book, they take care of the entire publishing and marketing process 100% for you. So, if you want to become a successful author, make sure to check out authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. Today, I have Loronda with us. She is the founder of EnerPeace Creations, LLC, where they provide training and speaking services to an array of organizations. Additionally, they teach 9-to-5ers how to follow their dreams and reveal their greatness. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today, Tyler. I greatly appreciate your kindness.
Of course. Grateful to have you on. Let's jump into the first one. The first one I have for you, Loronda, is what is the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
The best story from my life is when I moved to Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for 20 years. I'm actually celebrating my 20th year here. And when I moved here, I didn't know a single soul. And I was still working in the corporate environment. And I came here on business to meet with some clients. And I fell in love with Atlanta that night. And when I went back to Florida, I said, you know what? I think I want to move to Atlanta. And, went to the local bookstore that Sunday, picked up one of those newspapers and looked in the classified ads. I mean, that's what we were doing back in, 20 years ago. Now it's a lot easier just pull it up online. But I actually found a position that was closely related to what I was doing in corporate. And that Monday morning, sent my resume out, and within a couple of weeks, I was in Atlanta. And it happened just that quickly. So the underlying message really is to bet on yourself, take a chance, and see what happens.
And then what is the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
The most valuable information is it's very important to network, but when you network, make sure you're doing it strategically, where you're building relationships and nurturing relationships instead of just going to every single networking event and shoving your business card in people's faces. So that would be a very important piece of advice for people to know.
And then if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I would tell my younger self, where you are right now is not where you're going to remain. So just continue to follow your dreams and visualize what you want to see every single day. And, eventually, you can accomplish anything you want. Just continue to dream beyond your current circumstances.
And kind of going a little bit down a different path here. In your opinion, what is the key to happiness?
Well, my key to happiness, I think happiness is, different for each person. But for me, my key to happiness is, the ability for me to find my purpose and to live my purpose. And, 2013, I found my purpose and have been doing that ever since. It's really important to, kind of tap into what makes you happy and what makes your heart sing. So for me, living my purpose has been amazing.
And what is the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
The best book that I ever read was The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield. And that book changed my life. It was, life-changing. And, one of the things that I learned from that book was to pay attention to your life and pay attention to the life signs all around you, because they're leading somewhere. They're directing you on your journey. So it's important to pay attention to those things.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
My favorite quote is, and I'll just give that to you. It's realization is the first step to change. Once you learn to embrace change, you are able to move forward. And the reason why I love that quote so much is because it's my very own quote. That was the very first quote that I wrote back in 2003. So that's why it's been my favorite all of these years. And I've been writing quotes ever since.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming on. The last one I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for our audience to find and connect with you online?
The best place to find me is on social media at Inspired, INSPIRED, the number 2, and then Peel, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn under Loronda C. Giddens, and also on my website at www.lorondacgiddens.com.
Perfect. Thanks again for jumping on.
Thanks again for having me.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.